PAX is the agent for Caribbean Line, which offers an effective alternative for global integrative of transport logistics from Sheerness, UK to Vieux-Fort St. Lucia in shipping, documentation, administrative procedure, loading and unloading operations. We also offer courier, small package service, customs brokerage, ship agency, freight forwarder, consolidator, and accounting services. Visit them today on New Dock Road, Vieux-Fort, or call 454-1200 or 7198837. PAX is effective, efficient, and reliable.
Real estate transactions are now made easy. Whether buying, selling, or renting residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural, or touristic property, we offer the best deals in real estate transactions with professional support, including valuation, material sourcing, and construction. Contact Ed Harris and Associates, your courteous and efficient real estate agents. Call 485-1456 or email caribbiz@gmail.com.
Do you need to copy or print your document? Are you in need of insurance? Are you looking for office stationery? Stop. Yes, LMP Services on Clark Lane, Vieux-Fort has all the services you need. They open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Or call 454-8757 or 721-8757 for affordable rates, reliable and effective customer service with a difference.
Ernesto's Auto Parts, located on the Labrie-Vieux-Fort Highway, is your place for auto parts. We have suspension parts, mounts, brakes, shocks, and so much more.
We specialize in accessories like mats, batteries, horns, lubricants, and much more.
We're open from Mondays to Saturdays from 8 to 5 and Sundays on most holidays from 8 to 1.
L'opui, Ernesto vai depois.
What do you need to transport? Call the hauler. At M&E's Trucking, we offer a wide range of services island-wide, from containerized movement, flatbed service, and lowboy transfers. We're located at Beanfield, Vieux-Fort. Our skillful professional drivers are ready to serve you. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, or email us at vibration711@gmail.com. Call us at 488-1000. We're ready to serve you. M&E's Trucking Service, a powerhouse ready to haul.
People-centered, community-focused, building economic empowerment and resilience in our constituencies. Let's talk. Let us discuss. Constituency Vibes with me, your host, Ricky Alexander, every Wednesday on Sky FM 93.1 from 8 p.m.
PAX is the agent for Caribbean Line, which offers an effective alternative for global integrative of transport logistics from Sheerness, UK to Vieux-Fort St. Lucia in shipping, documentation, administrative procedure, loading and unloading operations. We also offer courier, small package service, customs brokerage, ship agency, freight forwarder, consolidator, and accounting services. Visit them today on New Dock Road, Vieux-Fort, or call 454-1200 or 7198837. PAX is effective, efficient, and reliable.
Real estate transactions are now made easy. Whether buying, selling, or renting residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural, or touristic property, we offer the best deals in real estate transactions with professional support, including valuation, material sourcing, and construction. Contact Ed Harris and Associates, your courteous and efficient real estate agents. Call 485-1456 or email caribbiz@gmail.com.
Do you need to copy or print your document? Are you in need of insurance? Are you looking for office stationery? Stop. Yes, LMP Services on Clark Lane, View Fort has all the services you need. They open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Or call 454-8757 or 721-8757 for affordable rates, reliable and effective customer service with a difference.
Ernesto's Auto Parts, located on the Labrie-Viford Highway, is your place for auto parts. We have suspension parts, mounts, brakes, shocks, and so much more.
We specialize in accessories like mats, batteries, horns, lubricants, and much more.
We're open from Mondays to Saturdays from 8 to 5 and Sundays and most holidays from 8 to 1.
L'opui, Ernesto kay de pou you.
What do you need to transport? Call the hauler. At M&E's Trucking, we offer a wide range of services island-wide. From containerized movement, flatbed service, and lowboy transfers. We're located at Beanfield View Fort. Our skillful professional drivers are ready to serve you. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram or email us at vibration711@gmail.com. Call us at 488-1000. We're ready to serve you. M&E's Trucking Service, a powerhouse ready to haul.
People-centered, community-focused, building economic empowerment and resilience in our constituencies. Let's talk. Let us discuss. Constituency Vibes with me, your host, Ricky Alexander, every Wednesday on Sky FM 93.1 from 8 p.m. people-centered, community-focused, building economic empowerment and resilience in our constituencies. Let's talk. Let us discuss. Constituency Vibes with me, your host, Ricky Alexander, every Wednesday on Sky FM 93.1 from 8 p.m. People-centered, community-focused, building economic empowerment and resilience in our constituencies. Let's talk. Let us discuss. Constituency Vibes with me, your host, Ricky Alexander, every Wednesday on Sky FM 93.1 from 8 p.m. Good evening, viewers, listeners. We are here on Constituency Vibes. And of course, I'm your guest, Ricky Alexander. And tonight, the 3rd of March, 2021, we have two magnificent ladies in our studio tonight. Our wonderful guest, Senator the Honorable Janine Girodi McIntyre, chairperson of the CDF, the Cultural Development Foundation, and chairperson of our National Independence Committee, and of course, Senator the Honorable Fortuna Belrose, Minister of Culture and Creative Industries. So tonight we will be discussing independence, our 42nd year of independence 2021. So welcome our listeners and viewers in the diaspora. And we like to think of the diaspora not as foreigners who are away, but citizens who are in a different space. So we don't want them to feel alienated. This is part of who we are. Very, very, very important. And from an economic point of view, we know that the critical role in the remittances that come home provides that critical support for our people. And as we go, we have some of our rules we want to share with you so that we make sure that our program is conducted in a particular manner. Number one, thou shalt not use language that is defamatory, insulting, offensive, or slanderous to the host, guests, and public officials or persons in general. Thou shalt not listen to thyself on the radio, as it may cause feedback. Thou shalt turn your radio down. You may listen to the host via your phone. Thou shalt practice good etiquette and when expressing your viewpoint. Thou shalt choose to identify the area that thou art calling from, and thou shalt respect the views of all callers without making insults or abuses with reference to previous callers, even though you may not agree with what a previous caller may have said. And thou shalt be civil and gentle at all times. So that's important so that we conduct ourselves. And we'll be speaking about that in terms of the culture of who we are, how we conduct, how we approach. So when we go somewhere, somebody can say that's a St. Lucian identity, that's a St. Lucian characteristic, that's a St. Lucian trait. That's what makes us the kind of warm and wonderful people that we are. Our program, Constituency Vibes, is focused on sustainable development of our country in a people-centered approach to ensure that we have growth and development and prosperity, constituency by constituency. It is based on the concepts of economic viability, environmental soundness, and social equity, so that we ensure that our development framework brings about an equitable society, a sustainable society, managing our biodiversity, our human potential. And my honorable guest, I like to use human potential as versus human capital and those kinds of things. I think human potential more refers to our skills, talents, and our creativity, and all that is important aspects of our cultural expressions, which are a critical part of our identity. Okay? Listeners, a people-centered approach and community approach in what the thrust of what the government is doing is get towards harnessing growth and prosperity, a focus on nation building through promotion of peace, and forging meaningful partnerships in a broader framework to advance our economic interests. And this is done through the underpinnings of our philosophical approach, which is to fight the wrongs that need resistance and to help the cause that needs assistance, led by the Honorable Prime Minister, the leader of the government and the cabinet, of course, a wonderful team, capable, dedicated team of men and women, which views our development approach through a meaningful participatory process of planned change and managed learning. So all of what you see is happening is a critical element of that approach. Culture, by definition, is the sum total of ideas, the ways of doing things, knowledge, values, attitudes that each generation passes or attempt to pass on to the next. And we live in a society, which is the space we live in. I remember the book West Indian Social Problems, edited by Malcolm Cross, gives a very interesting definition of a society. A set of people who are self-sustaining, has a long duration, and is made up of interlocking social institutions, among which may be family, religion, political, economic, cultural, but it does not exist automatically. The society exists when all those institutions are interrelated in such a way that a social system is said to exist. And part of that social system is a bit of our history, where we have come from, our independence, and our 42nd journey in that regard. So independence is not merely the granting of a flag and an anthem. It's about people carving out the destiny expressing their views, their visions, their aspirations, and the determination to succeed. It relates to our talent, our attitude, our perseverance, and our determination. And of course, in critical times like this, that also determines who we are as a people. You know, as Martin Luther King said, the true measure of a man is not where you stand in times of comfort and luxury, but in times of difficulty, controversy, challenges, and adversity. And that's when sort of the best of us sort of come out. So these are critical attributes and aspects. So the question is, who are we as a people? Who am I? And I think when we talk about that, and just by a way of humor and linking it to the music, Benny Man, when he posed the question, the Jamaican artist, who am I? When we say that, we're not talking about Benny Man's definition response by saying that, who am I? The girls, them sugar. That's not what we're talking about. That's humorous, that's fun, and that's entertaining. I am reminded by the late Professor Rex Nettleford, former Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Jamaica, Mona, a historian, cultural activist, artistic luminary, a great man indeed. And he made the critical point that we are a product of the people, the families, the communities, the institutions that have shaped and impacted us. So if you are schooled in Canada, like the Prime Minister, naturally you're a product of Canada. That's part of who you are. If you are schooled in the UK, like my good friend and colleague from the National Youth Council, the Honourable Ernest Hilaire, if you're schooled in the UK, you're a product of the UK. So all of that reflects, you know, really the essence of who we are. And so independence, 21 or 47 years, how does it express who we are, where we've come from, what we are doing? So my guest tonight will be talking about our independence, particularly in the context we had a virtual independence, how we adopted technology to showcase who we are as a people. So let me turn to my guest, who will lead us in that direction.
Thank you very much, Ricky. Good evening, and good evening, of course, to your viewers and listeners across Radio Land. Yeah, independence. You know, when we took office in 2016, and of course the government of the United Workers' Party in 2016, we came in, and at the time the theme was the journey continues. You know, St. Lucians would have remembered that theme, which went on for about 2 or 3 years. The journey continues in 2016, 2017. And in 2018, we sought to change it. You know, we moved from the journey continues to I am St. Lucian, you know, and it was all about trying to get St. Lucians to focus on the fact that we are a people. We are people who can determine our own destiny. We are the ones who would shape where it is that we want to go. And we're coming in to build a new St. Lucia, and we needed everybody to be on board with us. And so the following year, which was our 40th anniversary of independence, we celebrated with the theme, All In. The message was clear. We all needed to be part of that journey, you know, that we were on. And so All In suited us very well. And then last year, I think we chose Together. The theme was around Together. Now I can't remember, I didn't write it down. But the theme was Together we can make it. We can do this together. That's right, we can do this together. All in an effort to keep us in the mindset, you understand, of nation building and working together, you know, and a striving to achieve the goals that we want for ourselves and our country. And so when this trauma of COVID came around, it was not difficult for us to make the transition, because we were already prepared as a people to make that next move, to take that next step. And so it was natural for us, and that's why it's always important to have the right people in the mix. You need to know the competencies, the capabilities, you understand, of your society and your people to be able to move them in the direction, you know, that you want. And so COVID came along and just exposed who we are and the stuff that we are made of St. Lucians. And that is why we were able to deliver such a classy, you understand, 42nd anniversary of independence under the able leadership of Honorable Janine Judy McIntyre. So it was a process, and as a country we've come very far in terms of our 42 years. But I think it's about putting that energy together, you know, and the focus for the last 4 years have been on building, nation building, and pulling us together so that despite the challenges that we have as a citizenry, we will continue to conquer as a nation. And I think we saw that very, very clearly, and that was demonstrated in the celebrations that we had, albeit virtually, But I think St. Lucians got the message. They felt, you understand, that Lucianness and that Lucian spirit, which has led us to this point. So I won't go into programming because that's my honorable senator's responsibility. But just overall to say that we really thank them for the work that they did and the showcase, by the young people, because most of these programs were actually delivered by young people. Young people moving into different areas and different spheres, of economic activity around the creative industries. And so I think we're really on a great trajectory. And that's why it's important for us as a citizenry to ensure that when we're assessing government and we're assessing things around us, that we really try to be objective. Because I don't see any other way than the way of the United Workers' Party. And that's just my 2 cents on the politics here. But I would hand over to the
Just before we go to Madam Chairperson, listeners, just let me run through the program so that you get a sense of the numerous activities that took place. And you had from the 20th of February, Lunch of Independence, the launch. You had opening prayers, lunchtime chat with Father Albert, the Club 42 St. Lucia business, 42 years, adapting with technology discussion. You have song winner announcement, Club 42 St. Lucian business. You have PM message to the diaspora, spotlight on St. Lucia diplomatic corps, legacy calypso show, praise and worship, gospel concert, sustainable economic empowerment discussion. You had Were You There, St. Lucia, 1979-82, very important and critical aspect of the history, that critical period. Yes. And I think from what I have been hearing, people really enjoy that in terms of understanding what has happened. I think the guests, Rick Wayne and Peter Josie, really did a fantastic job in terms of bringing out and discussing some of these issues of independence and so forth.
So you see the difference, huh? It makes a difference when you have the right people in the right place doing the right thing. And I think that's where the message came through for us. And not just Josie and Rick Wayne, but also in terms of the Club 42.
Yes.
To hear the experiences, you understand, of those business people, who over the years, made it happen and sustained our country, and gave us, those who are coming after, that confidence that we can, you understand, as a citizenry, do it and do it better. When you hear the stories of people like Jacob Charles and the Chasneys, you hear people and you hear their struggles. It was not all made for them. They had to work it, and I think the message was very clear through their stories, to us.
And I think that was important for young people to understand that when they see the successes, to understand the hard work, the journey behind it. And
absolutely.
The fact that we live in that instant technological society, that need for perhaps instant gratification. So them to understand the hard work, the perseverance, the characteristic in nature of people and how they succeeded through all of that. So, Madam President, how has it been? You have been there from last year, I think?
She's been there for the third year.
Third year. So take us through that journey.
Well, let me say first of all, good night to the viewers and the listeners, and also to say to you, Ricky, that I'm happy to be here with you tonight. The minister always sets the stage beautifully. She always gives the big picture, even when we meet as a committee, and she's invited to our openings. She always gives the big picture, and I think that is a good start. It allows the committee to know exactly where we're coming from, what we want to show, and what the future should look like. So each year in the last 3 years, I've been the chair, and I have with me a solid team. Most of them have done this before with me. Once every year we bring in 1 or 2 different people, but generally it's a solid team. And each year we think about not only what has gone in the past, but what is important in this year to portray in terms of independence. What is our country going through? What do we have to highlight that one can be optimistic about, joyful about, but also look at the pressures we may have that we need to relieve. Independence has certain staple activities, like the gospel concert, the Prime Minister's activities, various staple ones. But each year we also look at what is going on in the country that we need to show everyone. We also take proposals from public sector, private sector, and within our committee, we start with a group called the Ideas Committee, Ideas Subcommittee rather. And that subcommittee dreams up the creative side of things. What would be appealing, exciting, etc. We also think up the serious issues that may need to be addressed in that year. So this year, as usual, we had to think, what is the situation like? We were hoping at the outset that we could do a lot of activities where we could be present, but then with COVID on top of us, we realized that instead of preparing for a double type of activity, those where we can be present, and a virtual one, we might as well go all virtual. And the protocols were changing on us rather rapidly. So
that adaptability is critical.
Well, that is one of the things we wanted to showcase. You'll even notice that one of the activities is called that. It's called specifically that, how adaptable we've all been. And that's how it started. So, unless you want me to go through some of the activities in the program.
Please, yeah.
So every year we start with prayers. Our nation is a prayerful nation. We must start with prayers. So every morning for about the whole month of February, there are prayers at one of the stations that you can log into, and prayers and meditation. Then we did our launch, and this year we invited Father Albert to do the opening prayers and to give a little sermon, a little talk on what he thought was important in terms of leadership. And he spoke to leadership in all aspects of life, from the home to the governance, all areas. And he thought that that was crucial because to have a steady, stable society, we need leadership at the homes. And I think he was speaking a lot to the men, that, you know, play your role. It's a matriarchal type society, play your role. Stability of the family is important. Then we went into Club 42. As the minister said, Club 42, which was managed by Drinier Frederick out of CDF. So CDF played a part, ECSL played a part, our sister agencies, and of course the Ministry of Creative Industries. And it was to showcase the resilience, because remember our theme for this year was a resilient nation, we can, we will. Une nation qui résilient, nous savons faire, nous qu'à faire. So we wanted to bring that across no matter what, because that's what's important during COVID. So the 42 Club really showcased those that have been around for many years. And as you also, most people enjoyed what they saw.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to go on and on and on, but so interrupt me at any time, because it's an exciting, it's still an exciting program to me, and I can go on and on and on.
Right. So we want you to go through it so we understand the rationale, the thinking, you know.
Exactly. We also had a song competition, because independence is the opportunity for the creatives, those in sports, those in business. We try to look at all aspects of St. Lucian life. Now, because of the virtual thing, sports was not easy for us to get to have happen, because contact sports were not allowed. So unfortunately, we had to remove that from the program. But we kept the other aspects, and we wanted to deal with especially a focus on the young. So what do we need? Technology. We need to speak to technology. So we brought 3 really capable young people that spoke to the new attitude or the new way that money is going to be handled by society from now on. We spoke to the online food services, and we spoke to online platforms. And these young people were great. They really explained with, they gave a vision of the future. as to how young entrepreneurs can really adapt to the new era that we are going into, the technological era.
Let me just add on that. I mean, if you look at China right now, you don't need cash. You just need a cell phone, if you're barcode and that kind of stuff. So
Exactly.
the 5G, we're moving in that kind of direction.
And that's what, and they spoke of all of that. They were excellent. All of these things you can also see in playback on YouTube. We also did the spotlight on the diplomatic corps, because this was led by Russell Lake, who is presently in the United States. And he came with this proposal, this vision, that really, do we understand and know exactly what the diplomatic corps does outside of St. Lucia? And he gave us a lengthy, in-depth program on this. It was very well received. Most people were, really in awe that we did so much outside, looked after our people outside, the students especially. And of course, they are the ambassadors to St. Lucia. So it's lovely to see how our young people conduct themselves outside and the skills that they are earning outside of St. Lucia. So that went down very well. I had been starting with the song competition, which was done in conjunction with Balance Inc., which is the association that represents several artists. And, well, we got 38 songs and we were able to showcase them. And we had popular winners. We also had those that were judged and, came first, second, third. So that went down well as well. And it also gave an opportunity for persons to create songs, and we gave a stipend just to start your creation. And then, of course, you had your prizes for those who won. You also had your prize for the most popular songs. And I wish I could say on air, but there are some of them that were really my most favorite songs, but I will not say that now.
Okay.
They also created videos to go with their songs, which was wonderful because then they could be played on NTN. And this brings me to NTN. Without NTN, not possible. NTN was superb, very supportive, carried this for us, little fuss. Everybody just played their part. Had that not happened, it would have been much more difficult to orchestrate. And I guess this year, because of COVID, NTN has become larger in St. Lucian life. So the command center, etc., that's always there, and the fact the CMO comes on to NTN and explains to us, it's an easy reach. So that really helped everything go smoothly. So thanks. I give a big shout out to NTN, to all the persons there, especially Davina. I can say all the names. Herma,
Indeed, they did a fantastic job.
They did.
Prime Minister's playlist, yeah?
Well, I'm trying to get to the bit by bit, yes. Okay, let's get there. To the Prime Minister's playlist, that was awesome. Let us go, yes, all right. Prime Minister's playlist, that was awesome. That again, every year we are really looking for an opportunity for young artists, for artists, veterans and young artists. Remember, because of COVID, they really have got a knock, a blow. All their activities, their events, either cancelled, some have told me that they have not been able to do anything for a year. That is sad. And then we had a number of them who were on the cruise ships that had to come in to get what work. So we put out a call through, this was handled by the subcommittee, which was handled by Lamar Seafley. And Lamar and his team did a marvelous job. They also took the pressure off of the committee because they're the age, the demographic that we really want to satisfy. So they put out a call, as we asked, and within 48 hours, we had over 200 artists applying. These are young artists. The
energy.
The energy, the enthusiasm, the opportunity that they wanted to grab to show us what they've been bottling up and doing for the last few years, and especially in this year that they've not had any real opportunity to showcase their work. And they rose to the occasion. I mean, if you've seen PM's playlist 42, you will see what was achieved.
Oh, I watched.
Yes, it was wonderful.
Very enjoyable.
So it took us through the musicians, some of whom we had worked with before. It took us through all the various genres. So we had, down to from our classic pieces to country and western, our Denry segment, our power soca, calypso. Took us right through. And
I'm talk about country western. I'm a born Russian. Oh yeah.
Yes, well, it was. I should not say that either on air, but it was my request because I simply love it. So, and he did that out of New York. He was really good to us to be able to do that out of New York. Did the whole thing himself and sent the info. So that was lovely. But I really want to again big up the young artists. Okay, well, the names have to get, I don't want to leave out some and call some, but I mean, Woodfire, Goshen, all of them. I don't want to leave out anybody, so let me stop here. But they were great. They were great. And the thing that I think was important in terms of showcasing the events, especially the PM showcase, it was a minimalist approach to what should be done. Because we had to work out, how do you keep people interested? Do you put a big old concert and pretend that there are people listening? No, it doesn't work. So you try to bring the person to the show. You let them feel like they are almost there with that single artist or with that band or with that group. And PM's playlist used a minimalist approach to that. So you'd see a large field with maybe just one singer and instruments. That draws you. It makes you feel it's a more intimate production. And I think that paid off well. It was just beautifully executed. So hats off all the artists in PM's playlist 42. Thank you. And thank you to ICAST that did the videography. I want to give you a chance, Minister, because I can go on and on, as I said.
Let me just remind listeners that we are on to Constituency Vibe, 93.1 FM, on Sky FM, and on Flow through GDV TV 115. Of course, we are my two wonderful guests tonight. I'm Senator the Honorable Fortuna Belrose, Minister of Culture and the Creative Industries, and Senator the Honorable Janine Girodi McIntyre, who is Chairperson of the CDF, the Cultural Development Foundation, and Chairperson of the National Independence Committee. And then we are discussing our independence, where we are, our journey, and that unique independence celebration we had within the COVID atmosphere. Yes.
No, I think one of the most fantastic aspect of this for me was to be able to see the scenery and the backdrop. You understand, that was used across the programming. I got the chills. Just looking through, and you see the pitons and the beaches and the markets, and it was just amazing to see the amount of minutia.
In our national anthem, the fairest isle of all the earth.
And if you didn't believe it, you saw it, and you had to admit, you understand, given what we saw, that we are indeed the fairest of all the earth. But I think another amazing program, Madam, was the communities showcase. Where each of the 17 constituencies that was one of the best things I enjoyed. What they were capable of doing, or what they had, and the resilience. I think the theme was a resilient nation. We can, we will, and how they stood the test of time and what they've done over the years, to showcase themselves. And it was just amazing to see what came through. And I think within all of that, for me as a citizen, you felt the love, the warmth, of our people. And I was saying to somebody, the production at Cut Me Moose was the one that came out of the Mabia Valley, where you saw as children, you would be playing your ball in the yard. You understand? And it would probably hit the neighbor's house, and they would be shouting at you, and in some cases, shouting at you, and all you have to do is, run. And I think that just brought out something in me, just watching and relaying that story within my own self, as a citizen of this country. I think almost every St. Lucian child, could have connected with what was happening, in that piece. And so we really want to say hats off to the communities, because they really did a phenomenal job. And I know, Madam, in fact, if I give you the stories behind the scenes, you wouldn't want to believe it. But I remember her coming to me 2 or 3 days before the event saying, Madam Minister, some of these videos from the communities are just not good. We need to get and we had to get them to redo and oh yes. I mean, it was tremendous trying to get the work done. But I think what I really want to applaud is the standards set by the committee to ensure that we deliver it in the way that we had to. They really operated. It was hard work. I could tell you behind the scenes for them, but I'm really happy that they were able to deliver it to the quality and standard that we wanted to ensure that our nation, saw what we were capable of.
It was amazing, indeed.
Yes, amazing.
Of
yes.
course, I'm naturally will root. My favorite was from Sulphur City. So
yeah, yeah. I think Sulphur City actually won the best video, didn't they?
Well, we will announce tomorrow.
Oh, okay, there I go.
She does not have the information. We will announce tomorrow.
But all the videos were good. I think, we just want to celebrate the fact that all the communities came out, you understand, to do it. And I think we can only get better at this because people now understand thoroughly what it is that they need to do, yes.
And I think most importantly, it set a new standard.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now it's like it raised the bar in an amazing way. So
and not only raised the bar, it raised the expectation now that in terms of NTN, which is what Madam was speaking to earlier, people expect to see high quality programming coming out of us, and so we really want to continue to see, from the government standpoint, I know we'll be supporting NTN to be able to get, to that level where they can continue to sustain, that quality of programming. Throughout. So it's just important for us, and it's just a new dimension. We have young people who are aching and yearning, you understand, to continue to go into that industry, and we must continue to provide the opportunities for that to happen.
Now, in terms of the community showcasing, and in fact throughout this, we really have to highlight our videographers, because they were left practically with the communities to envisage how they were going to do this.
Right.
Yes, we gave generally the criteria and guidelines, but they really had to be very innovative and creative about this, and we left that to them. We didn't say your community must do this, that, and the other. It must look like this. So we expected some of the cultural, the historical, the economic, the political, all that needed to be showcased.
Yes.
And we wanted them also to use the associations and the people of their communities. So you will find that the cultural associations were the ones that did the skits, that did, the narration, that scripted some of this with the videographers. And it was a wonderful, harmonious way of doing it.
Yes.
We had to, at the same time, they had to meld the two things. That is the historical, cultural, with the modern. What does the constituency look like now? And I would say, what would thrill me about your constituency that I'd want to leave where I am and go live there? It should be able to foster migration within St. Lucia.
Yes, tourism is both international and domestic.
And domestic.
Yes, absolutely.
So the staycations, now people want to go into other communities and
that's right. And you see, and it falls right into the village tourism concept. You understand that we are now, as a government, actually pushing, and creating opportunity for persons in communities to continue, to do that kind of work. So it's all part of the master plan, which is unfolding. And so we're quite happy with where we are.
Listeners, you are on to Constituency Vibes on 93.1 FM and on the Flow 115 and our partner station GDV TV. And as we talk about the master plan, of course, we must talk about the trajectory, the leadership of the country, where it's going. One of my favorite quotes is that anyone can steer a ship, but it takes a captain to set the course.
That's right, so and I think we've got an excellent captain. Don't even go there.
What I'm saying, so we have the right course.
Yes, now, Madam Chair didn't tell you much, but the PM is deeply involved in what we're doing, You don't think he would just be sitting there and watching like everybody else, Yeah, he's part of the think tank, you know, as well with respect to the creative programming. And so for the last 4 years, we've worked with him to ensure that we improve on the quality of programming, you know, for independence, making it better every time, you know, and I think that's where we really thank him, you know, for the leadership and guidance, you know, with respect to the programming for independence. And the passion too. You know, because, yeah, I mean, the Prime Minister's Palace, you saw him, you know, he was prepared to challenge everybody. I've got the best people there, you know. And so it's just amazing. When you've got a good leadership, you've got a good team, you've got good synergy, I think we're on a good course.
And he has the experience of
yes,
it. You know, he's really, really good at this.
Yeah.
So we could always rely on him for, okay, how would we proceed with this aspect? Or, you know. At the same time, he's very supportive. But,
absolutely.
You know, we do what we
yes, the team is competent.
He's not going to get into the nitty-gritty, but very available for any kinks we may think in the actual production part of it.
Yes.
Not in the content per se, but in the production part of which he has experience.
Yeah. But the passion.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you have to have the passion.
Yeah, and that's a critical aspect of leadership as well.
Absolutely, you know, yes. You have to be in it. You can't be distant, you know. So he brings that level of how do I say it, intimacy. You know, he's there, you know, in terms of the support, you know, that he gives to make sure it happens.
And always very, very concerned about the youth.
Ah, yes, big time.
What are we doing? This is our future. So what are we doing to propel the youth, opportunities, showcase what they can look forward to, how they can live vital lives by starting now, doing things that in the future pay off well for them.
Absolutely.
He's very much about entrepreneurship, and he's very much
pathway,
about finding ways within whatever sector you enjoy, whether it be agriculture, tourism, whatever, finance, business, whatever. And so a lot of this we try to reflect his vision each year in whatever we're doing. But let us not leave out the gospel concert, which was beautifully done as well. It's a staple, so people expect to see that. It's always under the stewardship of Anselm Cauldron. And we try to bring all the faiths. So you
interfaith.
Interfaith, yes. Well, you bring the faiths, yes. Everybody does their bit. So you would have seen an assortment of faiths and really wonderful, wonderful singing, some acting, and again, a mix of the veterans, but a lot of youth. You know, you'd even see them rapping, all different types of music.
All genres,
and again, the vistas, beautiful, beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.
Well done by the videographer again, you know, Lance.
Okay. Viewers, again, you're on to Constituency Vibes. We're discussing independence, looking at our journey, where we are, where we're going, in the current time that we live in. I remember J.K. Calbrief, who talks about it as the imperatives of technology, not the images of ideology. So how we use the technology to be able to showcase the social, the economic, the cultural, the spiritual dimensions, all the interrelated aspects that make us who we are as a people. So we had a fantastic, marvelous thing. I mean, I'm sure people are excited about what's going to come next year. You know, raise the bar and understand that in terms of where we are going in that direction. I think the critical involvement, it felt so involved. Everybody was involved. The constituencies.
It was a place for everyone.
It was a place for everyone. And that involvement, that integration, interaction, make everybody feel part that they are, as a country, we're moving in a direction, but it is inclusive.
Yes.
That we all playing our part in one way or the other. So
and that's very important because everybody needs to as a responsible government, I think our responsibility is to ensure that the citizenry are part of the process. So both political parties, all the organizations on the ground, you know, Balance Inc. from the standpoint of the artists, you know, the commercial sector, the private sector agencies, the communities, everyone was given an opportunity to be a part of this process with us. And that is the only way you can really test where your country is. You know, you need to involve all the key stakeholders to ensure that people are part of that journey with you. It's the nation's independence. It's not my independence. It's the nation's independence. And so we have to find that common ground, during that time in particular, to ensure that everyone is a part, of that process. And I think we were able to capture that very well this time.
Oh, yeah, fantastically. Yes, Madam President?
Yes, well, I don't want to leave out anybody, so I want to move on to, the military parade that could not happen because you need to have a certain size platoon to put on a parade, and it was not allowed. So the police band, they are always integral to whatever we're doing. They provide the fun as well as the wonderful music and the seriousness as needed. So this year they contacted us.
I think we are one of the best police bands in the region.
Oh, we know that.
Excellent.
Isabel.
Excellent. And so willing always to be at anything they're asked to do, So they asked to put on a video, a small short video, which they did. And I want to thank the Officer Jules, I believe he was, officer that offered to do it. There was also one of the favorites, which was Were You There, 1979 to 1982. So thank you also to Mr. Wayne and Mr. Josie for a very exhilarating discussion. And in fact, we've got so much feedback on that they're asking when is the sequel. So we're going to have to think about that. That idea came out of NTN in particular. The thing about independence, and I want people to know because it's not really a set of events. Then yes, they're the staples, but honestly, people, anything that you come with will be looked at, considered, and it's whatever is happening in the country at that time. Any proposal is looked at. So that gives it a diversity every year. That you don't know what else will come for the year you're in, and it gives it the energy that you need. That you need in all the programming.
Absolutely. And as you look back on the 4 years or the 3 years, you actually see the transitioning in terms of the different themes, and what we were trying to accomplish in each year. And this year with COVID, I think we really were able to capture the essence of our country at this time, but importantly, the verve, the energy, that is there within this nation of ours, given the talents and skills, and abilities of our people. I think that came through and resonated very, very soundly, during the celebrations. It really left a lot of people on a high, and even those in the diaspora, the feedback, was phenomenal. They were not here, but what was portrayed, really captured the essence of who we are as a people and where we're going, where we are headed.
We had a shift, which brought a little difficulty at first because now we had to rethink what we were doing.
Right.
But the shift was that in keeping with wanting to encourage people to do what's good for our nation, we were asked to get into the messaging of COVID.
Yes.
This was crucial. It came almost at after we'd already decided what we were doing for independence. But we took it on, and as you can see around the country, we have almost 17 billboards for each community representing. Now we have people taking pictures at the billboards, etc.
That's right.
And 6 national ones. And we think that they are effective in getting the message across, and there are various messages for all your different interests, whether you're the fisherman, the fireman, the whatever, the lawyer, the doctor, whatever you are, whoever you are, the message is being brought across. Face masks, hand sanitizing, to socially distance, and we have also the vaccine. Taking the vaccine is also encouraged. So we became part of that messaging. We had the mask on, the challenge for the mask, and
and I think it's a year on since you've had the COVID, and I think finally people are beginning to get the message, and we are heartened that they're getting the message, they're functioning, but it had to take us into a critical stage for them to understand the value, of doing the simple protocols, so we are happy, but we will continue to apply the pressure. We'll continue to do the messaging to ensure that our citizens get the message. The important thing now is for persons to get the vaccine. There's nothing wrong with the vaccine. I'm not a medical doctor, but from the time we were 5 years and 4 years old, we were taking vaccines. I think it's important now that with all the technology that we have in terms of understanding and the science, it's important that people respond to the need globally, you understand, to take this vaccine to assist us in resolving the issue. You know, I mean, we are a nation who love to party, we love to engage, we love to have a good time. And so it's important for us, if we want to engage in that type of behavior, do what is required for us perhaps to regain, you know, some of that back.
But I think anytime you have events, I won't say events, situations, crisis, like you had the financial crisis, 9/11, the world changes in fundamental ways. So
absolutely.
the way you travel now since 9/11 is different. So even for COVID-19, I think the vaccine is critical because I think airlines and other companies will begin to require,
that's right,
you know, to ensure that we have the safety. You know, the independence 2021 certainly highlighted in a particular way, in an extraordinary way, the illusionness of our people. I mean, who we are, the essence of who we are. Speak to that a bit.
Well, I think, yes, you know, when you look at the entire programming that came through, it was all about us, you know, every aspect of it, and particularly when you look through the communities, presentations, you saw that illusionness in us. I connected very well with the youngsters playing ball and hitting the neighbors, hitting the neighbor's house and getting a shot, you know, and you driving away because you don't want the neighbor to tell your parents you were the one who hit their home. So I think in every way, and that was very illusion, you know, for me, and I'm sure across the programming, you know, people would have connected in some way, you know, to that essence of who we are, and so for me it was really a thrill and a joy, you know, going through this. I really look forward to the great work that the committee has done and will continue to do for us. I hope Madam stays on for next year, because but it's all, you know. But I think it was a fantastic experience. But the illusionness, the things in us came out, the things that we do, you know. Maybe we can actually make that point one of the programming areas, you know, that bring out the illusionness in us. You know, what are the things in illusion? Somebody sent me 50 things that determine whether you are St. Lucian, you know, which was quite interesting when you went through it. Almost every St. Lucian child would have been through the experiences that were sent to me, you know, by this one St. Lucian.
But if you observe in the community showcasing, some of the narrators spoke as if the community is me. I embody everything in that community. They personified the community in them. Some of them, if you look at Labrie Zone, Beaufort North, they spoke about I am this. Dennery, Ancillary, I am this in Ancillary. I am that in Canaries. Because they were bringing out what is Lucian about us. And then there's the serious side of it too, which is, because some of that is a lot of fun, but there's the serious side, which was the discussions about our economic development. Put on by the ministries, Ministry of Agriculture, SLASPA, Office of the Prime Minister. We also wanted that aspect. And then we play off, obviously, the historical pieces, the discussions by Sir John, etc. So we try to bring all of those in, and to remind us all that we're on a journey. Independence, as you said earlier, Ricky, it does not happen on the day that it was, let's say, granted to us, or that we got it from England. It is a continuous process. All that did was give us a piece of paper to say that, okay, you're on your own, affairs, more or less on your own. But we are small nations, will always be interdependent, but there's still something when you step out into the wider world, which I did for many, many years, and lived in every continent on earth except Asia I lived in.
Which is a part of who you are.
Yes, absolutely. My St. Lucianness was obvious, and I knew how I felt. I did not feel like anywhere else. I felt like a St. Lucian, even though I had I had influences from the other parts of the world that I lived. I gained knowledge. I learned, you know, different things from other parts. But Your St. Lucianist remains with you, and there is no place sweeter than home.
Yeah.
And so independence, it just confirms that we are a group of people that have certain peculiarities that are common, a certain way of living that is common, a culture, everything else that is common that makes us who we are. And we showcase that every year at Independence.
Absolutely.
That's the goal.
Yeah. I think just an interesting point on the Lucianness. I recall, and we talked about living abroad. I recall as a student in Australia, because I studied in Australia for about a year. When we got to Australia, we were coming out of A-level. In those days, we had to rush for bus because there was only 2 buses from the Ministry of Education. So we'd rush, get to the square, and try to rush to get on the bus to get to school. So we got to this big cosmopolitan country, 2 St. Lucians in that group, and we ended up still rushing for bus. You know, and what we were still, it was just the habit of rushing for the bus. But then there was a schedule for the bus, one at 8:50, one at 8:20. So you would not miss a bus. But it was just the inherent thing in us as youngsters, you know, having to rush, you know, for bus. Their bus is coming, but yet we insisted on running, you understand, to try to catch the bus, you know. So we carried some of those behaviors as students abroad until you realize, but it doesn't make sense. There's a standard schedule. Things run on time. You understand? So you know, take your time. You'll get on the bus and you'll get to your destination. But just the attitude of having to rush for the bus because of the lack of resources, I think perhaps from within here, was what we got caught up in overseas.
I had an interesting experience, and then when I see what is happening with COVID, the fact that you have to take a line. I was coming from South Korea. I was in the Senate at the time, the Ambassador for Peace program.
Right.
I'd gone to a conference there. And then when I went to New York, I said I would spend a few weeks with my sisters. So when I got out of JFK, I saw a line. It was winter, it was around February. So it didn't dawn on me that I should take the line for the taxi. So I just walk ahead, go in front and look at the taxi, and the conductor sends me right back to the
yeah.
So, you know, those
take the line. Yeah, these are the things, you know, that you carry with you, inherent Lucian things, you know, and so, yeah, it takes a while to get over that too.
Certainly.
Yes.
You spoke to the infrastructural imperatives, the cultural imperatives, and the socio-economic imperatives. So we had that discussion.
Yes.
Minister, for you sit in cabinet. From the economic situation in terms of the leadership, taking us where we are navigating that period through our journey, you know, the kinds of decisions that has to be made to ensure that we come out of this more than alive, and looking forward to how has that been?
Well, interesting. Sometimes I wonder how the Prime Minister does it. You know, I think, and leadership is not an easy thing, you know. It's a great gift when you've got it. And I think for one to be able to lead a country and steer it in the right direction, because remember, he's a leader of leaders. You understand? To steer it in the right direction with everybody on course, you know, and buying into that into that vision is incredible. As you know, the last 4 years have not been an easy for us. We inherited a country that was partially broke, and we had to work our way with it. And then, bam, COVID hit us and threw us right back, you know, to nowhere, really. And we've now had to be begging quite a bit, you know, or borrowing money quite a bit to ensure that our country stays afloat. You know, we have a major crisis on our hand. It's a global crisis. What do? You know, we don't have resources in this country, apart from, yes, we have our people, but in terms of gold and silver and, you know, assets that could help us, we don't have that. And so obviously one has to consider a number of factors before the final decisions are made. And it's just amazing the way the Prime Minister, you know, God has given him that ability and gift to be able to look at our country and steer us in the right direction and ensure that people are on board with that process, you know, with him. So the journey continues, and of course we are quite happy to be where we are as a nation, because I think for one, as a country, you want stability, you want peace to reign, and I think we have good command of that. You understand? So to my mind, I think we are well on course as a nation. And if we all work together and put our backs to the wheel, we can achieve what it is that we want to, you know, as a nation.
And if I may just add, follow up with the foreign policy approach, because part of the program was the diaspora, which really gave a great insight into what the embassies are doing. So that support in terms of a calculated foreign policy, I mean, about choosing our friends to determine our destiny, to give us that kind of assistance. And the Taiwanese, we saw the French, we saw, you know, I don't want to miss out on embassies and the diplomatic corps, but that kind of support that we...
Yeah, it's critical because they're the tentacles that you have out there. They're the ones who feel what is happening to provide the assistance to enable the right direction to be taken from here. And so it's important, it's very important that we have that connectivity and that relationship again, and synergy is right. And that people do what they have to do, submit their information in a timely fashion so that the right decisions can be made for the country. So it's really, it's tough to navigate, but I think, again, you have the right combination, the right team, the passion of the people who are leading this, you know, to ensure that our country stays on course.
And I think it also showcased as well, Madam President, you can speak to that, in the programming, because generally people, when they speak about the embassies and what happened overseas, you see a little clipping in the news if, you know, you get an ambulance or something happens. You're able to see, I get a better
the work behind the scenes.
The work behind the scenes, a better understanding and appreciation of that kind of work that's been done on our behalf. And
yes, and that was the aim of it. As Russell said, let us tell the nation what is going on out there. You know, we all know that there are embassies in various parts of the world, but do we really know what goes on? And I'm sure it must have been maybe a little bit onerous for the embassies themselves, because they were left to, okay, you got to get this done quickly. You know, we need so many minutes of you, and we want you to do this in a succinct way. And at the same time, showcase your programs. And they did so well, you know. They had to be creative as well as factual and speak to all the aspects of diaspora life.
Yes. And one of the things, Madam, is the whole question of the award ceremony that was held to actually showcase now some of those persons who behind the scenes who have been given tremendous support. It happened soon after independence, but they were part of the diaspora programming, which took place later on, because I think there was some challenges in terms of getting them in on the live on the 22nd.
Live, they would have liked to have done.
Live on
and
the 22nd.
Also to showcase whatever was happening here live. But it's not possible. It was not possible,
So, but that was great to see all the Saint-Lucians abroad who are working, you understand, to ensure that our country continues to remain afloat in the way that it is.
And congrats also to the ambassador for the diaspora for also her work and her office.
Yes, absolutely. Mrs. Joycelyn Fletcher, well loved by the diaspora. Yes,
she is.
Yeah, she has that passion as well.
Yes, for it.
Listeners, you're on to Constituency Vibes, 93.1 Sky FM, and on Flow, for our partner GDV TV, or on Facebook as well, and you could reach us at 115. One of the things I find that was particularly interesting was the general way in which all of this was put together. I mean, really amazing, really fantastic quality, substance, all kinds of stuff. And coming out of, if we go back to the diaspora, a lot of information came out. I mean, I didn't know much about the, you don't have to go to Canada, to Trinidad for the visa.
Yeah, you can do it right here.
You can do it right here. So a lot of information came out in terms of highlighting the solutions, the kind of work, and the kind of... And callers, let me just let you know that, and viewers, that our lines are open, 456-0931, so you can call in to be able to share your views with our guest as well, and tell us what you felt about Independence 2021, our 42nd year of anniversary. I say continue.
Oh, no, I just want to commend everybody who's been involved, you know, at all levels. Our diaspora team, well, you know, Madam can take pressure and she can give pressure. You know? But that's what it is, you know, when you're working, you know, to realize a production. And of course, we also had tremendous support from the team she mentioned earlier. You know, I think, again, it's a team effort. It's our country. And that's the sort of passion we want to see, you know, in events and activities, you know, that we deliver, as a government. Well done to all, and particularly, well, as for our young people, hats off to them. We know that some of them will getting a lot of pressure. But I think it's important that they demonstrated where they wanted to be, and how they should be, and how they ought to be, in this sort of programming that we were able to deliver. And we're thankful for the support that we got from everybody to make this happen. And of course, PM, hats off to you. I always give you the kudos because I know and understand your passion. And so we're grateful for all involved.
Okay, we have the calls coming in. You have to have your headphones up. Good night, caller. Welcome to Constituency Vibes.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. You're on to Constituency Vibes.
Good evening to our minister and is it the president of the Senate?
Yes, she is. And chairperson of CDF.
A wonderful independence celebration we had. I never thought that could have come to pass in St. Lucia. Really. I couldn't think of it in 1,000 years. But it was wonderful. Well done. And you know what I was impressed with? Where all the different constituencies put in their history and what they're all about, and it really showed the true St. Lucian flavor. This is the difference between St. Lucia and Barbados, St. Lucia and St. Vincent, St. Lucia and Grenada. I mean, it was so very nice, and I really compliment you, congratulate you for your hard work. Let me tell you, that kind of thing didn't take 2 days. It didn't take 2 hours. It took nights of preparation, days of preparation, a lot of saying this is not good, this is good, this is wonderful work in the final analysis. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and I'm looking forward to next year.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you so much, caller. It's wonderful to hear the feedback, and we are always there to please, please our nation. So thank you for that.
You can hear in the caller's voice that the passion,
enthusiasm,
that joy.
Yes,
so that radiated throughout. Because this was COVID, and we are accustomed to things being done live and you're home, but it was really focused, entertaining, packed.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel like you're watching an Oscar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hollywood production.
Yes, Ricky, I was actually glued to my seat and then realized, but I wanted to go to the bathroom ever since. And I couldn't leave, So, yeah, it was just a great experience. Really fantastic experience.
And that's why, if you don't mind, Ricky, I want to take the opportunity to, because again, it is the people that produced. So I do want to shout out the videographers again, Bill Elliott, iCast, Lionel Sextius, Always, Creed Cool, that's Jameson Hunt, Vigil Productions, Richmond Felix, Karim Stanley, Nikel Gustav, Nestor, and Lance Octave. And I really want to shout them out because they made sure that the standard was high. And when I grumbled, which I can do loudly, they adhere. They respond appropriately. And while we wait on any other calls, also I want to shout out the social media team. Oh my goodness, they are vital to anything we do. And the social media team is about 25 young people that have been with us since Independence 40. And they are fantastic at reaching the ground. They know their communities. They represent their communities. And they pass the information down and through into the communities as to what's happening. They pass out our flyers, etc., and they give us feedback. And so I shout out the social media team. I cannot call out all your names because there's about 20 of you, but thank you. Each year, thank you. Rejan, Jeshran, I could go on and on. Ramel, Kezia, everybody. And so I take the opportunity to do that tonight.
Viewers and listeners, you're on to Constituency Vibes, 93.1 FM and GVD TV, a Great Visions Designs. You can see us through Flow on 115, channel 115, and we're talking about independence, that unique independence we had through COVID. We saw the use of technology, we saw the creativity, a wonderful production that was all inclusive, the delusionness, our talent and skill as a people. So there's a lot to celebrate, there's a lot to be proud of, as St. Lucians, and wherever we are throughout the diaspora, to our St. Lucians throughout the world, really, really and truly, there was a lot of pride and tremendous in that regard. Of course, I still saw a lot of the flags on vehicles and people, showing that kind of, patriotism and all that kind of stuff as well.
And that was a very important aspect of the program, I think, in terms of the feel, the look and feel of the place. So an effort was made to ensure that we had a lot more this year. Although we could have done with more, but we did make an effort to ensure at least there was some visibility, with respect to our colors around St. Lucia.
So listeners, our line is 456-0931. Feel free to call and to share your views with us on Independence 2021, our 42nd year of independence celebrations, and we're looking forward to greater things this next year, and we know that you'll have your work cut out for us, because St. Lucians will be expecting. And I think also it gave people a greater sense, because you could stay at home and really take all that in.
The comfort of your home.
The comfort of your home, to see our achievements, our triumphs, our challenges. Good night, caller. Welcome to Constituency Vibes.
Hey, good night, sir. Good night, panel.
Good night.
And Mrs. Rose.
Good night.
I guess your program is also a request to, if any one of us feel probably we fall short somewhere, that
yes,
can mention it and maybe build up for the future.
Yes.
Well, all what I have to say is I thought we should a little more of the history of the island in connection of the same Mr. and Julie, the Busquet brothers, and some of a little deeper where St. Lucia really came from to be where we are today. So I don't know if there is any way of improvement, if we can execute any history of those gentlemen who fought so hard. And I think a little more could have come in regard of Sir John.
Sir John,
okay. But I feel happy with everything anyway.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thanks for that. I mean, these are all suggestions so that we can infuse that in future programming. So we welcome the thoughts. Absolutely.
Yes, thank you, caller. I agree with you fully on that. That type of discussion requires persons who are knowledgeable and some research. And so this year we tried to get it in with at least two of the gentlemen, but we know going forward we can do more of that. But COVID had us a little bit hampered, and at the same time, I appreciate exactly what you're saying. And of course, I would love the opportunity to say more about my father.
That's true.
Indeed. Viewers, callers, you're on to 93.1 FM, GVD TV, Great Visions Designs on Flow 115, and we bring into to you Constituency Vibe, our program tonight, and our wonderful guest, Senator the Honorable Fortuna Belrose, Minister of Culture and Creative Industries, and Senator the Honorable Ms. Janine Giroli McIntyre, who is chairperson of the Cultural Development Foundation and chairperson of our National Independence Committee. So all that hard work you saw, all that creativity, they were the ones coordinating and putting it together to give us something great. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Constituency Vibes.
Good night, Ricky. Good night, Madam Minister.
Good night. Good night. How are you?
Madam Speaker.
Good night. Good night.
Madam President, brother. Fabulous job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Job that you had on. I think Steven Spielberg would be very proud of y'all. Ready?
Yeah, go ahead, caller. We're hearing you.
Yeah, it's a fabulous job. I think Steven Spielberg will be very proud of y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Minister.
Go ahead, she's there.
Yes, I'm listening.
I want to do me a favor, please. Not favor, do something for the country. Not for me, for the country, please. The guy Champagne is very passionate about his Masha. Very, very passionate about Masha. And when you do give JP a whipping, I would like you to make him Prime Minister of Marshall.
Yeah.
Okay? Can you please do that to me? Put him in charge of Marshall.
Put him in. Oh. well, the people of Marshall will decide that, huh?
So I'm talking about after you give JP a whipping, then you make champion Prime Minister of Marshall.
The Prime Minister of Marshall, we can only have one Prime Minister in St. Lucia. Remember that?
No.
You're talking about the mayor.
You call it me, I call it Prime Minister. Yeah, but I'm serious. Good show, excellent show. But I'm serious though. Yeah, get champion that job, man. Make him mayor. Put him in charge of Marshall. He will live longer. Because he's breathing inside, man. This year's Marshall will not be drained that way. 25 years of neglect. Just years of disgrace, man. Of damn disgrace. Would you believe that he want to be Prime Minister? He have the audacity to be Prime Minister. Would you imagine that?
Oh. Well, I think the important thing is St. Lucians are in a very good position to assess people. And I don't think the electorate of St. Lucia has let our country down on any occasion. And so I think the capital of Castries, which is Marshall, is still one of the constituents that will determine the fate, you understand, of Mr. Pierre. They are the ones who will determine whether in fact he has worked and served them well for 25 years, or whether in fact they want to be on board with this government in terms of the policies that it has espoused over the years, and of course where we are headed. I think it's very important for the people to make that decision for themselves, and I think from everything I'm sensing, they are quite astute and they are well on their way to making that right decision.
These people have no respect and all of disrespecting the intelligence of solutions, you know, man. What this man done in 25 years, the great Alan Michael Shaftey done in 1 year. For 3 years, he had to clean up the rubbish that he done, the fucking nonsense, and he still cleaning up. And this man got have the audacity, want to be Prime Minister. It's a Lucia real country or mock country. Why in the world? Let me tell you something, man. In most countries, these guys do not even be in politics. Huh? You guys gotta do something with these guys, man.
I'm not hearing him clearly. I just hear him.
After you beat them, lock up all of them. Start with Kenny. Lock up a special jail. Build a special jail for them, man.
Well, caller, you will realize that our constitution gives everybody a right, an opportunity to be able to put themselves out there.
Well, that constitution's got to go.
Yeah.
Build a special jail for those guys, okay?
Yeah. But I think the critical thing is...
Hold on. Can we break the laws all the time? Can we and the SFP break the laws every day? Can we locking them up every day? We break the laws too. Okay? And I am again with that. Good job. Fabulous independence show. His champagne is this, okay?
All right, thank you, caller.
We hear you. Yeah, but remember, you know, one of the beautiful things about our democracy is that it allows people to make up, you know, to make make the decisions. And I think our people are astute enough. You know, they are mindful, they are aware of the situation. They know the strengths, they know the weaknesses. They know what they want, you know. And I think Castries is hungry, you understand, for some action, you know, and they make the right decision.
Welcome, caller. Welcome to Constituency Vibes.
Good evening,
Good
Mr.
evening.
Ricky Alexander.
Good evening.
I think I'm right.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
That's my first time calling your show.
Well, thank you very much, caller. Welcome.
And good evening to Mrs. Fortuna Belrose and Miss Jeanine Girodi.
Correct. Yes. Good evening.
McIntyre. Yes. I just want to say thank you, Mr. Ricky, for this program, Constituency Vibes, because it is very enlightening and showing us St. Lucians what is going on there in our country, a beautiful Helen of the West. Yes. And to Miss Girodi, Mrs. McIntyre and Mrs. Belrose, I want to say hats off to you two ladies for your wonderful independence celebration. I mean, I love being out there for the independence, but you made it happen for St. Lucia. It's like we were in our living rooms, and you did a wonderful job, and we must give you all the encouragement. And we know that if we are going to be home again watching it virtually, it's going to be even bigger and better. But it's like I didn't miss, I never expected, like the other caller said, the earlier caller said, I never expected that this virtual celebration would have been what it was. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in my living room and I'm enjoying this celebration so much. So I just want to thank you, ladies. Continue to do the wonderful job that you are doing, and we know that St. Lucia is well on its way to be a nation that we are all going to be proud of, and with people like you and the corporation, with the organizers and the people who really want to see St. Lucia move forward, we know that everything is going to be okay with St. Lucia, because this is what St. Lucians, we are St. Lucians, this is what we want to see. We want to see our country in the light. We want to see our country move forward, and you did, I don't know if to say, I think probably I have not seen an independence celebration from another country virtually. I want to say I'm going to be, how to say that, the word is not coming, but I want to say I believe that St. Lucia might be the first in the Caribbean to give us a celebration virtually like this. And I must say, you all are number one. We are number one. I will claim it. I'm not sure, but I'm claiming it.
You are St. Lucians. It was for you.
Continue to do your good work. I want to go on and on, but just continue to do what God has commissioned you all to do. God bless. And Mrs. Belrose, my vote is going to you. Just go out there and do what you have to do for our nation. Marsha and we are behind you, Mrs. Belrose.
Thank you very much,
ladies. And you are doing a wonderful job. Mrs. Jorodi, McIntyre, God bless you all.
Thank you.
Mr. Ricky Alexander, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you, caller. Thank you.
And remember, our responsibility is really to serve our people and to make it happen for them. And so when we get the opportunity, whether it be through representation or on committees or to serve, I think we need to just do that to the best of our ability. And so that is why we're here.
Welcome, caller. And then, as we were saying, I think one of the interesting things for me about independence as well was that the past month or so there was so much negativity, especially in Parliament, the opposition, the kind of attacks, the kind of vicious, venomous things that we're hearing. But the celebrations showed that peace, that love, that who we are and our compassion, and all of that came out wonderfully. And I think, that's
I think that was the object too, and it was about involving people, and we reached out to the opposition and they responded very well. And I think that was great. We had a small team that worked. But oh yeah, particularly with respect to
messages.
The messaging, and also with respect to the community presentations, where you had, for example, you have 17 constituencies, but in the Castries area, you have 4 constituencies, 2 of which are held by the opposition, and so we had to marry. You understand, an arrangement that would facilitate everybody and make sure everybody participate in the way that they did. And I think that came across very well, much to the satisfaction of both sides, on the fence. So I think it was very good overall.
And I think that's one of the programs where at least that inclusion,
yes,
so that nobody felt they were left out. So I think it was that bigger.
That's what independence.
That is the thing about independence, really, and I enjoy the opportunity of trying to show the nation as a unit, togetherness. And I was happy that the certain members of the opposition gave independence messages. It was great to see, because that's what it's about. The independence of all.
Yeah, and you heard it, and I think there were 1 or 2 messages where we didn't have the opposition or the incumbent representative, and people questioned that. So why didn't I hear? They didn't make a big fuss of it, but because the trend was set in terms of some constituencies where it happened, people expected it to be across the board, a theme across the board, and that's something we will continue to embrace. Yes.
Viewers, you're on to Constituency Vibes, 93.1 FM on GVD TV through Flow 115. And of course, we're discussing independence. My guest tonight, Senator the Honorable Fortuna Belrose, Minister of Culture and the Creative Arts, Industries, and Senator the Honorable Janine Girodi McIntyre, Chairman of the Cultural Development Foundation and Chairperson of the Independence Celebrations. And so feel free to call in. The number is 456-0931. And of course, our program takes up to 10 o'clock. So it's amazing how time flies, because there's a lot we've been discussing and sharing as well in that regard.
Yeah, I want to also thank Flo, Digicel, Harry Edwards, and Massey, especially, and every year we can depend on them to really come in terms of sometimes sponsorship, and the sponsorship is not necessarily in cash but in kind, and we can rely on them. There are also ongoing plans for some of the events that were televised and to broadening them, and most of all that we wanted to create content that could be used in the future and used internationally. And we need to think of that, because now it's a global village that we're in. And we need to use the technology and really get us out there. The world is our oyster. It's not just only about what happens locally.
Indeed, and of course, what is interesting, I remember, as we're talking about globalization, I think it was Dr. Hilary Beckles from the University of West Indies, a historian, has an interesting way of putting things. And he was making the point that, we are really experts at globalization. The essence of globalization, you had the finances, so to speak. So you had the Europeans who brought in finance. You had labor came in from Africa, production happened there, and some of that was repatriated back. So out of that, long journey of that, so we have a lot of that making and stuff in us. So when we hear of globalization, even within a neo-colonial context, that resilience of who we are as a people, so we're not kind of left out. We can navigate those kind of waters in that regard. And I think some of that came out in our independence celebrations.
Yeah, well, I just saw globalization as just another step, in terms of the our development process, as citizens. But I think for me, as a solution, if there was one aspect of it, I think we were chided on a bit, was the absence of the Creole. You understand, throughout our programming, and that's something we must mention. People have not called on it, but I think it's an aspect that we need to, and so perhaps agencies, maybe the Folk Research Center, you understand, can perhaps play a more integral role in terms of supporting the programming, through independence, so that the messaging around the Creoleness, of the culture can probably come through.
But let me add in that regard, last year, my school, for the Omega School, and Sir Arthur Lewis, Madam President supporters, we had a Creole debate on independence.
Right.
This year, COVID changed things a bit. So that was one of the contributions that we had. GIS that was held live.
Yeah. So this year, I think we missed that a bit, but we'll be okay. Next year, we'll make it up.
Absolutely. Okay. So viewers, you are on to Constituency Vibes, and listeners, 93.1 FM. The telephone number 456-0135, and my guest this evening, we have Senator the Honorable Fortuna Belrose, Minister of Culture and Creative Industries, and Senator the Honorable Janine Girodi McIntyre, Chairperson of the Cultural Development Foundation and Chairperson of the National Independence Committee. So we are discussing tonight our independence, who we are as a people, how we showcase our talent, our creativity in terms of shaping our forward movement, progress, and taking control of our own destiny, and how we did it through that kind of very creative and interesting medium, that space that COVID-19 allowed us to be able to maneuver in that regard. Any additional comments you want to add?
I think we just want to continue to commend all those persons who were behind the scenes, and the young people, and also that direction. I think what we've seen with the virtual presentation, we saw a whole new a whole new set of, whole new skill sets, you understand, coming through, and abilities and capabilities coming through our young people. And so the opportunities are there now. I think within my government, the opportunities to, what we want to do is to create that pathway so young people can continue to capitalize, on the opportunities that are there within the society. And so the virtual programming presented a whole new dimension, to them in terms of what can be done within the sector, and how they can now look, within to try to build and create, for themselves, which will be supported by us.
Good evening, caller. Welcome to Constituency Vibes.
Yeah, good evening, good evening. I just called to say good luck to Johnny and Jody.
Hello, good evening, caller.
How are you?
Well.
Okay.
Oh, hello, good day. Good day. Good night, rather, Stam Rambali.
How are you doing?
I'm well, thanks. And you?
I just called to say hello.
What you felt about the independence celebrations, our virtual independence celebration this year?
Thank you very much. I'm Johnny and Chilera.
Beg your pardon? Hello? Okay.
What he just called to say hello?
Yes. Thank you for calling.
Okay, caller, you're on to 93.1 FM. The number to call is 456-0931 at Sky FM, and we're discussing independence. Not just how we have 42 years of independence, that growth, the people who have played a critical part, and I think we had the investiture ceremony, the awards from the Governor General.
Yes, the awards from the Governor General, that will be done on the 7th of March. They will be presented, it will be done virtually, of course. But we really want to congratulate these people because quite a few of them, or most of them, are locals who worked, you understand, in this community of ours across the country. And I want to congratulate the 3 from Castries East, because we've got 3 outstanding persons from the Castries East area. And Selma Coltrane, who coordinated the Gospel Festival, and over the years have been an outstanding public servant, youth development officer, sports officer. She was awarded. We also had Don Pulbois, who has been in that tire shop where his dad, he's taken over from his father and running this business in the community and doing a lot in terms of supporting youngsters through scholarships and bursaries and helping the poor, and providing transport to and from the community, to those in need. So he's done quite a bit of work, on the ground in his young life. And he's not too well now. I understood he's in hospital, or maybe he's back home now. But we want to extend our,
when he sees me,
get well wishes to him.
He remembers that I'd call a spade that I did a long time ago.
Okay. And then there's Barbara Dublé, who worked at the Cultural Development Foundation for a number of years. And of course, she's retired. But she too was awarded for outstanding service, to community as well. And there were a number of other outstanding persons. We also had 3 persons. Our colleague senator. Yes, who also Mary Isaac for the work that she's done within the COVID this area. You understand? That's in history. That has never happened before in St. Lucia. So when the history books will be written, Mary Isaac will feature, you understand, as Minister of Health, who stepped the ship along with the Prime Minister and, of course, our CMO. So it's important that we recognize people who contribute to the development of our society. And I recall, when I was entering Parliament, one of the media men asked...
Let me just add quickly. Yes. Remember Calypso, moving from a dead hero society?
Yeah, we're moving from a dead hero society. And we have to, as I say that, we have to. And incidentally, that wall we put in Marchand, actually featured during our independence. It was sort of a backdrop for many people to come in and take photos, during the celebrations. So that is good. We need to celebrate our people. And it's only when we celebrate them, you'll get more people wanting to be a part, you understand, and come on the journey, with us. So we continue to celebrate, and even celebrate those who do not belong here, but work to assist us as an independent nation, you understand, in surviving in the international arena. And so I recall in the week, last week, somebody asked from the media, we noticed that there are 3 persons who are foreigners who receive awards, St. Lucian awards. But as a small nation, we rely on those on the outside to assist us. And we must say thanks. We must learn to say thanks. We must be grateful as a nation to people who contribute, to our development. And so that is our way, to say thank you to them every year, during those awards. And so it's important, whether they're Lucian or not Lucian, that we say thanks to persons who assist us. And that's what we're doing.
A lot happens behind the scenes.
Absolutely. Not aware of. And we must say thank you to them, no matter who they are.
Indeed. Viewers, listeners, we are on to Constituency Vibes, 93.1 FM, on GVD, Facebook as well, and we are Flow 115. And of course, the number is 4560931. And of course, we're discussing independence, our journey, 42 years so far, and our destiny, the destination, where we are heading, where we are going. And of course, this involves every St. Lucian playing our part to ensure that we develop our country. And of course, our skills, it's not just about us as a people, but our talents, skills, our love, our passion, our aspirations. And most importantly, I think sociologists and we judge people as how we treat people, how we relate to people, that interconnectedness that makes us a people, our Lucianness. Yes. So when we go out there, we carry all these traits and characteristics with us that help distinguish and identify us as well. And of course, and we are people are making great strides, and we've added to the 2 Nobel laureates. I think the president of the CDB, the Caribbean Development Bank.
Yes, Dwight Penner.
No, CDB.
You mean the current?
Yeah, is that Mr. Leo is taking on the reins, so that's a St. Lucian as well. So we're making great strides. And I think as we move forward to independence, I think that's an area I think we have to look into to identify our St. Lucians who are making that kind of contribution globally, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that is the whole purpose of the work of the diaspora unit. You understand? They've been looking deep within the diaspora to celebrate people, and we must do this. That's the only way we can continue to grow, as a country. You have to give Jack his jacket. People must feel that sense of hat. That's right. People must feel that there is. People must be acknowledged, for the work. Now, what you would find is a number of persons who contribute and work don't want to be acknowledged. They just figure they're doing it because of the illusion, the love for the country. But I think as a country, we need to be more grateful, and say thank you, to persons, because as a nation, when we do it, it filters right into, our homes and our families where we say thanks, because as Minister for Culture, I could tell you too many families, are just divided and they cannot even say thanks and face each other each day. Up to this morning, I was dealing with an issue with respect to one family, and, people need to be grateful. We cannot take people for granted, even if they are our family members. We need to say thanks, and just saying thanks can make a whole lot of difference in how people relate to you.
Absolutely. Now we approaching our time, so time is, so we can probably begin to wrap up, give an overview. So we'll start with Madam President.
Well, Ricky, I'm happy to have been here tonight, and thank you for the opportunity for me to hear what persons out there thought, and also to give a little bit of what we go through to produce what we produce every year. I want to remind us that we really are a great nation, that whenever we're in the time of independence, we should always look back at where we started, and where we now are. At the time when we were 2 schools, few roads, simple things like that, a lot of our population uneducated. But if we look over the years and the work done by Sir John as the founding father, practically, and the work done by our leaders up until now, we've come a long way, and we must not forget that. Remember that independence is not a day. It is supposed to take a while. It's supposed to be transformative, and we must keep looking at the cultural, the historical, the political, the economic, the financial, everything each year. Sometimes we will have to place more emphasis on one area as opposed to the other. This year we have to talk a lot about health. But we are indeed a splendid, resilient nation. And so thank you to St. Lucia. You, the persons in each constituency, you are the ones that contributed. You're the doers. It was over 1,000 people are getting direct benefit in terms of being paid directly. And that's not even the economic spin-off that happened or the domino effect. So thank you, St. Lucia, for always supporting us, and I look forward to many more collaborative events with all parts of our society.
Just before we go to
I want to also say, and good night, Mr. Rambali, again.
Just before we go to you, Madam Minister, I just want both of you to comment to this question. Let me just share that I think there's a sense that the younger generation who grew up with, I guess, water in the tap, everything is already there, taking it for granted, not understanding where we've come from, where we've been. I'm not sure if some of the parents are sharing that background and that history to give a full appreciation of who we are as a people. What's your take on that?
Well, young people, are young people. They would not have all of the history of what has gone. And that is so anywhere in the world. So that's why, as I said, independence is an opportunity to remind. And like I think the first caller said, let's bring a little more of that out so that people can be reminded of what the history is of independence, no matter what sphere, whether it's the political sphere, the economic sphere, wherever. So a little bit more of memory lane, as well as where we are heading to in this new international order.
Yeah. And also to remember that your history is really your history is today. When I say your history is today, I'm saying that your culture and evolves. And so young people today, they may not have had access to the rough times that our parents and forefathers had. But whatever they're experiencing today would be lighter, you understand, tomorrow, because you'll have a new generation with new ideas and taking it to higher heights. So look at how we did the virtual programming. So that has taken us another notch up. And so the generation of today, no matter what it is that they're going through or what it is that they have experienced, as you move on, the subsequent generations would find that, there were challenges, you understand, that the previous generation encountered, and so it's not, how do I put it? It's not to say that it's not to say that the generation of today would not have challenges. They do have challenges, but the generation that is coming would also have their challenges as well, and would have to live within that as well. So it may not be the toughness that we had, but it would be in a different realm, in a different area. And so look at what COVID has done to us, almost decimated us, try to destroy the essence of who we are, our culture, in terms of hugging and holding and, squeezing each other. We've lost that, for 9 months. And, I'm saying that I'm a parent. For 15 months, I've not seen my children, because of the travel issues, and so it's hard, but we are resilient people, and we will come through, and we will conquer, we will succeed. It would be different, but we will manage through that time. So there will always be struggles and triumphs, but I think at the end of the day, we will conquer, because we are human beings who fight, you understand, to get what we want.
Just have a closing remarks, or you want to?
Yeah, well, I just want to say in closing, we really want to thank St. Lucians for the participation, the reception in the event. Yes.
Good night, caller. You are last caller. Good night.
Oh wow, I joined your program a little late tonight, but I certainly want to commend Minister Belrose and also Madame Janine Girodi McIntyre for a fantabulous supercalifragilisticexpialidocious independence activity. One of the things I need to say tonight is that going forward, should we become normal again, it looks as though we would need to keep some of this virtual elements, because when I looked at independence this time around, every single individual had the opportunity to participate, to view, to be in what was happening. And I do not know whether anybody mentioned it, but That was the thing that struck me this time around. Wonderful programming, you know, but the fact of the matter is everybody, nobody had an excuse. Everybody was able to enjoy every program. So going forward, Madam Minister, should we become normal again, and I'm hoping that we will, let us try to keep somehow a bit of the virtual aspect so that what happened this time around could happen again, where persons are able to participate, children, adults, bedridden ones, and everybody else.
Yeah.
And once again, I know that you would need to now try to get your sleepless nights returned to you, but hats off, and continue to do the great work that you did during those past few.
Yes, thank you, caller. You're so correct. What at first seemed to be a great difficulty, which is people would not be able to come to the events. What a pity. That's how we started. But then there was a silver lining. No, we can go to people. We will be in their bedrooms and they can all participate. And it really has worked very well.
Yeah.
Before we part, I also want to say...
I think we have another caller. Okay. Hello, good night, caller. Hello, good night. Hi, caller, can you hear me? Okay, we're not getting that call. No. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was only giving my last shout out to my tried and tested soldiers. Kezia Preville of Advice and Damian McGowan, who I can do nothing without, and Sonia Seaflake particularly, at my deputy GPS Lenita Joseph, and PS Irene Senqua of Office of the Prime Minister. I cannot leave them out.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, so of course, and we just want to say on behalf of the government of St. Lucia, thank you to the citizens of this country for the way for participating, and of course the teams for participating in the program. Our culture continues to evolve, it's all around us, and we have to make adjustments as we go on, and that's what we're here to do, and that's what we'll continue to find the right people to assist us in doing, because we must adapt, and we must move forward. We are a resilient nation, we will and we can achieve anything we set our minds to.
There you have it, callers. Thank you and good night. Thank you for being part of Constituency Vibes, where we are discussing our independence celebrations with you. And of course, we're looking forward to our next program next week. Let me just say, remember to follow the protocols, be safe, and of course, remember, collectively as a people, we are a product, a sum total of our experiences, all the things that have impacted on us. So if you have experience in the UK, Canada, or Australia, you are part of all of that experience, making a collective, whole individual able to contribute meaningfully to our community and our society. So once again, good night, be safe and follow the protocols. People-centered, community-focused, building economic empowerment and resilience in our constituencies. Let's talk. Let us discuss. Constituency Vibes with me, your host, Ricky Alexander, every Wednesday on Sky FM 93.1 from 8 p.m.
My mother's savings bank. It was out of his breakfast to give us something. Still didn't get it.
Things were very difficult with my parents, and my mother opened a small bakery in the Castries area.
Because my father do everything he could do for me, not for himself, for me, personally. And from there, when I see my mom yesterday, and I just
remember my mother and my father every day, how they take it so hard to bring us up. And I seen from today that I have two disabled children from mother. The mother asks for freedom, and they don't want that freedom, you know.
PAX is the agent for Caribbean Line, which offers an effective alternative for global integrative of transport logistics from Sheerness, UK to Vieux-Fort St. Lucia in shipping, documentation, administrative procedure, loading and unloading operations. We also offer courier, small package service, customs brokerage, ship agency, freight forwarder, consolidator, and accounting services. Visit them today on New Dock Road, Vieux-Fort, or call 454-1200 or 719-8837. PAX is effective, efficient, and reliable.
Real estate transactions are now made easy. Whether buying, selling, or renting residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural, or touristic property, we offer the best deals in real estate transactions with professional support, including valuation, material sourcing, and construction. Contact Ed Harris and Associates, your courteous and efficient real estate agents. Call 485-1456 or email carrotbiz@gmail.com.
Do you need to copy or print your document? Are you in need of insurance? Are you looking for office stationery? Stop. Yes, LMP Services on Clark Lane, Vieux-Fort has all the services you need. They open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Or call 454-8757 or 721-8757 for affordable rates, reliable and effective customer service with a difference.
Ernesto's Auto Parts, located on the Labrie-Vieux-Fort Highway, is your place for auto parts. We have suspension parts, mounts, brakes, shocks, and so much more.
We specialize in accessories like mats, batteries, horns, lubricants, and much more.
We're open from Mondays to Saturdays from 8 to 5 and Sundays and most holidays from 8 to 1.
L'opri, Ernesto vai depois.
What do you need to transport? Call the hauler. At M&E's Trucking, we offer a wide range of services island-wide, from containerized movement, flatbed service, and lowboy transfers. We're located at Beanfield, Vieux-Fort. Our skillful professional drivers are ready to serve you. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram or email us at vibration711@gmail.com. Call us at 488-1000. We're ready to serve you. M&E's Trucking Service, a powerhouse ready to haul.